Here's a billboard advertising one company's services. Are you a worried parent? Our dogs find drugs for just 99 bucks.
It looks like a
catchy billboard. I like it.
An increasing number of parents are actually calling this company to do a search of their home. They're, of course, fearful that their kids may be doing drugs. We actually have the founder of the company joining us on Skype. So, Michael, first of all, I love the billboard. So, just walk us through when a parent calls you up, how does that work?
Well, a parent calls us if they are worried that their child is using drugs, selling drugs, and/or on drugs. We are non-law enforcement. We are not police, which means that everything remains confidential, no questions asked. We consider ourselves as a counterterrorism program. Why? Because the war on drugs has become an epidemic. Our entire country is infested with drugs. So this is a proactive approach to defeat the drug usage. For $99, you can buy a pair of shoes. But for $99, you can also protect the future of your child. We locate the narcotics with our narcotics detection dogs inside of your home. We then sit down with the child and the parent. We put the narcotics inside of a legal disposal bag, and then we take the narcotics to the police. If there is a large issue where maybe the child is an addict or the child is selling drugs, we then sit down with the parent and we give them advice on where to go from there. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to clean up the streets without putting kids in jail.
And are
I like this, Michael. I mean, it's like one-stop shop. He's addressing all the issues.
Michael, I have a question. If you have a teenager or a kid that's selling drugs, what do you do? Because there may be a really large quantity of drugs that you find. And if you show up at a police station and say, you know, here's a big quantity of drugs, are they just saying, okay, thank you, you know, no questions asked, and you walk out? That sounds a little, ooh, tell us what happens in those cases.
TLC is an acronym for the last chance. We are called the Last Chance Canine Services. You only get one chance with us. We will help you one time. We want to help you get on the right path that one time, and we will do everything we can to help you. We relate to most of these children. We grew up in very rough environments. The military saved our lives. All of our handlers are prior military. We only hire prior military. We know how to deal with these children, so we hope that our advice and our guidance can help them. But once again, they only get one chance.
So what happens? You pick up some narcotics, you're driving it somewhere, and then the cops pull you over. What happens?
Well, we have sat down with all local law enforcement departments where we have our services. 50% of them fully support us. We actually have a liaison officer that we are allowed to meet up with to drop these narcotics off. They actually know that we are headed to them with these narcotics. However, they do not know where they came from. But the other 50% of the police departments, they're not very keen on our program, and that is why we need America to help back us, that we are ready to get charged if we have to with these narcotics, because we would rather be charged with these narcotics doing the right thing than allowing a child to get lost in the system.
Michael, thank you. I want to say thank you so much for joining us and explaining what your company does.
Dr. Jen, two teenage children.
You know, what it boils down to is that moms need to trust their guts. And I think that this offers a resource and a tool to some that would, you know, I just strip search and go through everything myself.
I'm worried, though, if your kids are involved in drugs and you bring in this service or a similar service, are you going to just force them to go underground more? Because kids are pretty creative, and they can do things that oftentimes elude parents. So I don't know. I think you'd have to weigh your child, know your situation, because this might make a bad situation worse.
I think law enforcement should offer this service. If anyone's going to offer it in a way where, look, you get a one chance here.
That's what he's trying to do.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference between a private industry. There's a big difference between. Well, I'm not averse to this, but I think in the 50% of markets or cities where they're not working with the police, that's a big problem. I think if you're working with the police department, then you're helping to think outside the box. I have a big problem, though, if you're doing this in a community where you're not supported by the local police department, because then it's...
the police department, they have you're breaking the law. They have to pursue the fact that you've committed a crime.
Yeah, I can't imagine that you're going to be riding around with drugs, and if you get stopped, you're going to take the hit for that?